Hi, it's Juliet. Welcome to my studio. Okay, so here is 1x1 rib and waste yarn, and we're going to pretend it's got the rest of the sock on it. We had a video issue. So this is the project yarn coming out here, and then the purple is the waste yarn. So what I'm going to do is just pull that through to the inside and just get it out of the way. So I will just bring that around, find it here, and just pull that through and kind of tuck it down into the middle just to get it out of the way. Okay, so I'm using like a number 2 double pointed needle, but you know, you can use whatever double pointed needle you have that's appropriate for the size of sock, or the stitch sock size. So since this is 1x1 rib, I'm going to start, so my yarn ended here, and it's this stitch right here. So what I'm going to do is get the left edge of it and pick up the left edge of this stitch, and since it's 1x1 rib, I'm going to pick up the left edge of the one below there, and then, oopsie, and then get the next one, and then the one in the back of the purl stitch, and the left edge of the knit stitch. Oops. Yeah, that isn't the waste yarn, that is the project yarn, it's just a purple fleck. The left edge of the rib, the knit, the rib. Can you zoom in a bit? I can see real close what I'm pulling up. So we've got the knit stitch there, and the left edge of the rib stitch, left edge of the knit stitch, and so on and so forth. And we are going to go basically the whole way around until we've picked up all of these stitches and have them on our needles. So I usually split it up between 3 needles. So if it's a 60 cylinder, I would have 20 stitches per needle. Okay, so once you have it on the needles, doesn't really matter how many you have on each. It started here. Now you just take the waste yarn off, and it's just real easy to pull it out. You can ball it up and reuse it. This yarn here is a 224 cheap acrylic yarn from my flatbed machine knitting days. So I'll just pitch this. I sometimes use a 212 acrylic yarn, which is thicker. It's closer to the sock weight yarn, and sometimes I'll ball that up and reuse it 3 or 4 times and then pitch it. So there we go. We have our waste yarn out. We have our needles, our stitches on the needles. Here is the tail end that we're going to use to do our cast off, and that's coming up in the next video. Okay, so here we are. I've got the waste yarn removed, and I've taken my tail and I've put it on a blunt wide eye needle. I tend to use the bent kind. I find that it's a little easier to manipulate, but you can use any kind you want. We're going to take the end of the yarn and get it untangled around the needles, and I'm going to start by going front to back through the second stitch in. So you can see that I'm going in here through the second stitch in, and I'm going to pull that through. And I keep it soft there. I'm not going to pull it too tight. And then I'm going to go back to front in the first loop, like that. And then that first one, I'm going to actually slide off the needle. So I'm going to do that and slide that one off the needle. And then I'm going to go into the second one, and I'm going to go front to back. pull the yarn through, and then I'm gonna go back to front off the first one and slide it off. And once you get a few on there, what I tend to do is kind of pull it this way, and that allows these bars on the top to kind of pull down, and it keeps it from flaring out and having a lot of bulk up at the top. If you do that, you get this really nice chain stitch across the edge here, or it looks like a chain stitch. So it looks really nice and finished. And the way you get that to look nice is you're controlling it through the tension of this motion, stretching this and pulling things down. So let's do a few more and you kind of get the hang of it. So I'm going front to back through that loop, pulling my yarn through, then back to front and slip it off. And this is the part where I'm kind of stretching it, and you see how it kind of pulls down in there, and then I can snug it up. And I'm trying to get the length of this stitch and that stitch and the one before all to match, and that's what gives you that nice uniformity. Let's do a few more. Once you get in the groove, it goes a lot faster than I'm doing it now. Especially if it's on your lap and you're not trying to photograph it leaning over the kitchen counter. So one of the things as you're doing this, you're taking some of the twist out. So I every now and then kind of twist up just to get the yarn more balanced. Anyway, so I'm now down to the last 2 stitches. And so what I'm going to do is slide the needle over and pick up this first one just to add another stitch, just as if I was beginning. And that will let me do a nice consistent finish. So again, I got to go back through the second one, the first one, forward through the first one, slide it off, snug that up, and I'm going to do the same thing with this one, which is really where I began. And that will give me that same consistent finish. So this is all completely bound off. So this last one here, I just go through somewhere here to the inside, bring that through, and you can see it matches the whole, let's stretch it out a little bit, it matches the whole way across. You've got these nice little things, and then on the inside, I just basically find a close bar here, and I will just bring it down about 1 inch. Just pick up these guys just to anchor this end. I'll snip it in a bit. So I'll pull that down. Stretch it out. And then I will go across here. And this U-turn, I'll go back up. This U-turn will actually help anchor it in and make that end less likely to pull out. And I'll stop, you know, 1/2 inch below the top. You could go down further if you wanted to. So there we go. So that'll be a completely hidden end. I'll snip that off. And there we have our nice finished 1x1 rib sock, toe-up machine knit, circular sock machine knit sock. So the nice part about this cast off is that it is extremely stretchy, just like the rest of the sock. And as you can see, it has that nice finished edge. So it looks nice and good, and it doesn't inhibit stretch at all.